Just talk directly. Now it's on. Welcome, everybody. Partnership of the League of Women Voters and Ferguson Library welcomes you. He says talk directly into it.
So, put it in my pocket.
Did I talk this far? This is experimental.
What do I do with this?
Well, welcome to the Candidates Forum for Mayor. We have Nicola, Tarzia, and Caroline Simmons here. They are going to questions. Laura Smith, who is co-president of the League of Women Voters of Connecticut, is our moderator. We have
Thank you. Thank you.
people that are taking questions and going through them so that they are nonpartisan. Laura will be giving the same question to each, and she's going to go over the rules when she gets up here. And it's good to see a good crowd. Thank you all for coming. Those that are on Zoom, thank you for being there. For those that don't know, this is being recorded and will be available on the Ferguson Library YouTube channel. Anybody that wants to see it later on, you will be able to get to it. We have asked the candidates not to excerpt any pieces of the video, that the only way the video should be viewed is in total so that things are not taken out of context. So with all that, thank you very much for coming. And Laura has to know she's got to talk directly into the mic also.
Very much, Lou. Good evening. I'm Laura Smits. As Lou mentioned, I'm a little shorter than he is, so I'm going to move this down a little bit. As I mentioned, we will be doing some format rules here. What we will be doing is we have questions. Both candidates will answer both questions. They will have 90 seconds each to answer the questions, and then there'll be 30-second rebuttals. I would ask that there is clapping in the beginning and clapping at the end. No extraneous noise, please, and let's try to keep it civil as possible. We will try to get to as many audience questions as we can within the limited time. This debate is an hour, and there will be 2-minute closing statements, and we're going to go right into it. Is everybody ready? Okay, the first question goes to Mr. Tarzia, and it's about housing. A lot of housing questions tonight, so we're going to try to get through as many as we can. As mayor, what specific steps will you take to make Stamford more affordable for renters, homeowners, and businesses?
That's a very good question. And first of all, I'd like to thank the League of Women Voters for hosting this event. Thanking everyone for attending. This is a very large crowd, so thank you all. Very exciting to be here tonight. So let's talk about housing, affordability. We have a lot of development going on in Stamford, and there's the developers developing housing, apartment buildings, and trying to build more affordable housing. So there's the BMR program, below market rate, and the Affordable Housing Trust. But what I want to do with these programs is hold these developers more accountable. They're paying a fee in lieu instead of having affordable housing. So this fee in lieu goes into the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. We need more transparency on the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, and we need to see, are we getting the correct value for, say, if someone builds a 100 apartment complex and they have to build 10 affordable housing and they pay a fee in lieu, are we getting that value and fee in lieu for that 10 extra units? So that's where I need some transparency on affordable housing. And one of my plans here is some people from the South End are here for affordable housing. The South End is an open book for affordable housing. We can develop the South End properly with affordable housing, condominiums, green space, businesses, retail, post office, grocery store. So a lot of things can happen at the South End. And also I have a plan with the Stamford Credit Union or Stamford Sound Credit to bring renters into more affordable housing by collaborating with financial institutions for rent-to-buy options. So Stamford can backstop some of these affordable housing issues along with the rent-to-buy options. So those are some of my programs. Thank you.
Ms. Simmons, same question to you.
Thank you as well to the League for hosting. Thank you to my opponent for the civil discourse. And thank you to everyone for joining us for this important conversation about the future of our city. Affordability is a key issue for so many residents who are struggling to make ends meet in Stamford. And so many people are struggling to afford their rent and mortgage, which is why one of the first things I did was sign an affordable housing executive order with the goal of creating 1,000 new or upgraded units within the next several years. I'm pleased to report we have 637 units in the pipeline that are going to provide affordable pathways for rental and home ownership for Stamford families. And I'll share a few ways that we've been able to do this. First, we've made policy changes like increasing density for transit-oriented development around the train station. We've also directly put funding into all 4 of our city capital budgets so that we could directly subsidize the cost of more affordable housing. For example, we're putting funding into upgrading our existing housing stock, like Stamford Manor, which is a low-income senior housing facility. When I met with seniors there, they were complaining about deteriorating floors and leaky windows, and they deserve high-quality housing too. So thanks to funding we're putting in our capital budget, their units are going to be renovated. We're also creating more pathways for affordable home ownership by partnering with our nonprofit housing providers, like the Housing Development Fund. For example, we visited with residents at Washington Crossing in the South End, which is a 23-unit owner-occupied condominium complex where we've been able to help 23 families buy their first condo at an affordable price, thanks to the partnership of HDF as well as our Affordable Housing Trust Fund. We also, for the first time in a decade, have upgraded the below-market rate requirements on developers from 10% to 14% so that we can increase workforce housing across our city. But we have more work to do, and if I'm reelected, I'll continue to work to advance affordable housing solutions across our city.
Thank you. Rebuttal, Mr.
Rebuttal.
Tarzia. Go
Not a
ahead.
rebuttal, but just an addition.
Sure.
Because Caroline, thank you for Caroline. She's a good friend of mine, so it's a good debate process, and we like to have fun together during our debates. She talked about the 637 new units, and we have this BMR program, and there's a waiting list for affordable housing. So I'm in construction, so I'm a big spreadsheet guy, map person. I like to see out of 3,300 units that are being built right now, that are in the pipeline that are approved by the planning board and the zoning board, I want to see how many units are affordable housing, how many units do we need, and how many units are included in that number of 7,333 units. So I want some transparency on that. The Housing Development Fund, that's a great aspect to affordability, but we need to make sure that they have the right funding in place for that. And we have obviously Charter Oak and Spirica, New Neighborhoods, Pacific House. We have all these affordable housing entities. I think Stamford, as I said before, Stamford with a mayor that understands construction and can elaborate or help on that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anything else for that?
Sure, I'll just add, I know part of the question was around how we can make our city more affordable for businesses, which especially our small businesses are the backbone of our local economy. One of the first things we did coming out of the pandemic when so many small businesses were struggling, we used a portion of our remaining ARPA dollars to launch a small business grant so we could provide more access to capital to over 176 small businesses. And we've also dropped our mill rate from 25 to 23.94, further enhancing our economic competitiveness and reducing the cost on small businesses in our city.
Thank you. Second question, this goes to Ms. Simmons first. How would you approach matters related to ICE and federal immigration enforcement in Stamford? What steps would you take to ensure that all residents feel safe and supported?
Sure. Well, first I'll say that we're incredibly proud of Stamford's immigrant community and our diversity. This is one of our city's greatest strengths and assets. The fact that we have people that speak over 70 different languages and come from all over the world to pursue their dreams in our city. This is something that we should celebrate, and it's all of our job as community members and leaders to celebrate our immigrant community and reiterate that they are welcome here and that we are an inclusive city. Unfortunately, this has been a really challenging time for our immigrant community. Over the past year, there's been an uptick in ICE raids in our city and cities across the state and across the country. We've seen harsh ICE tactics. And our administration has taken a twofold approach to this. One, our police department complies with the Trust Act in Connecticut, which prevents local law enforcement from voluntarily sharing information with ICE on immigration status. This is critical because we want our immigrant community to know they are safe to call the Stamford Police if they are a victim of a crime or need to report something suspicious. It is critical that we have trust between our immigrant community and our Stamford Police. So they will serve you no matter what your immigration status is. And our police chief has disseminated that guidance and trained all of our officers on that. Second, Even before the federal administration change, our administration has been preparing for this, and we've regularly convened nonprofits and social service providers like Building One Community and a range of nonprofits to make sure we're providing essential services and resources to vulnerable communities across our city, and will continue to do so. While federal immigration is a federal matter, as mayor, I have an obligation to keep all of our 135,000 residents safe, and will continue to do so.
Thank you. Mr. Tarzia.
Thank you. On ICE and federal enforcement, yes, I believe Stamford should be a sanctuary city, just like some of the other cities in Connecticut, and protect our immigrants. As a lifelong resident of Stamford, I love the Hispanic community, there's Russians, Ukrainian community residents, there's Haitian Creole, there's all these different diversities. That's what we should celebrate in Stamford, is the different diversities, and we need to protect those diversities. So I'm not in favor of ICE raids in courthouses that's been reported, and so on. So I want to protect the citizens and immigrants, and I want to, one of my initiatives is for multicultural learning is to have a multicultural school, a multilingual school being built, and that's one of my initiatives for long-term achievement gap and just celebrating our diversity. Just like the AIT is one of the best high schools in Stamford, I have a strong initiative to build a school in South End or West Side as a multicultural school to celebrate our diversity. And the ICE is more of a federal issue, so I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you. 30 seconds. Ms. Simmons, anything to add?
Sure, I'll just add that I know it's increasingly a time of fear and uncertainty for our immigrant community, and we're seeing real effects, unfortunately, from the ICE raids. I was just at Still Meadow Elementary School last week, and they are down one kindergarten classroom because many undocumented families are scared to send their kids to school. This does not make our city stronger or safer if an entire kindergarten class is losing out on that crucial year of education. So we need to continue to creatively work to get resources and support services to meet immigrant families where they are, to keep them safe and make sure we're doing everything we can to help them thrive in our city during this difficult time.
Thank you. Mr. Tarzia, anything to add?
No, that's fine.
Okay, thank you. Next question goes to you first, Mr. Tarzia. Considering the 11-year disparity in life expectancy from the south end and the north end of North Stamford due to poor air quality, why bring more apartments to an already dense area?
Exactly what I was talking about before. The South End is an open book for a sister city, a redevelopment, a proper redevelopment. Now we need green space in the South End. We need more trees, obviously. We need more condominiums, more affordable housing. And the air pollution, there's an industrial area on the water side and the South End. I've visited with some of the residents, people that are in this audience here today. I've seen, and I don't want to name the industries, but I've seen still going down to going through the storm drains. I see storm pollution. I see air pollution. We need to try to focus on how to, again, rebuild South End and Harbor Point. I think that's in the waterside area too. That's our main focus, and trying to enhance that or clean those air qualities up, because there is a disparity in life expectancy in those areas.
Ms. Simmons, same question to you.
Sure. Well, making our city more sustainable and tackling the climate crisis is another focus of my administration. I signed an executive order on climate change, and we are implementing a climate action plan to work to reduce our carbon emissions, which we have an obligation to do as the second largest city in Connecticut, in order to make our air quality safer for kids. One of the things we know from that plan, we conducted a greenhouse gas inventory, and we know that the two sectors that are emitting the most carbon emissions are our transportation sector and our buildings. So we're implementing a number of energy efficiency measures at our buildings, like deploying solar and other energy efficiency measures to reduce pollution. And we're also working to convert our government fleet to electric vehicles, and we're encouraging the private sector to do so as well. We also know that a lot of our air quality stems from the congestion on 95, which is one of the most heavily trafficked highways in the region. So we're working closely with state DOT to encourage alternate modes of transportation. We're making a $100 million investment in our train station to rebuild the train station and encourage more alternate modes of transportation, and also working to add an auxiliary lane to 95 and other measures to reduce air pollution. In addition, our city's health department has taken the lead on installing air quality monitors thanks to an EPA grant. I want to thank our hardworking health department workers for all the work they're doing there. And we've secured several federal and state grants to do things like tree planting, which we know can enhance air quality and reduce pollution and make our city healthier. So we still have significant work to do, but we've laid the groundwork to make improvements.
Okay, thank you.
Can I just say a
Sure.
quick rebuttal?
30 seconds.
Sorry, 30 seconds. As a green builder, I emphasize green construction. So my plan is for the existing buildings in town and to incentivize some of the landowners or building owners is to do more green construction. And that includes high efficiency equipment, solar, wind, geothermal, all that. And again, it all could be implemented in the great South End area. So that's one of my programs that I want. And when somebody builds makes a green building better. Oh, sorry, I'm stopped. Never mind. Thank you.
Simmons, anything
Say it,
extra?
I'll stop.
Yes, I'll add that over the past 4 years, we have upgraded our sustainability scorecard in the downtown and South End, which essentially requires new developments to comply with sustainability measures like energy efficiency and green roofs and solar to make our air quality better and to support our sustainability goals. So we're going to continue to work to incentivize the private sector to be more energy efficient and to take the lead on making our air quality better and supporting our sustainability goals through that sustainability scorecard.
Okay, thank you. Next question goes to you first, Ms. Simmons. What are the plans on the Mill River Bridge?
West Main Street?
Sure.
What was that? Well, I'm sorry, what?
You mean the West Main Street?
West Main Street, Mill River Bridge. I'm not from Stanford, intentionally so. The Mill River Bridge.
So when I came into office, a number of our bridges were deemed structurally deficient, including the West Main Street Bridge, which has been a bridge that has been ignored for 20 years. And it is deteriorating to the point that it is unsafe for our residents. For example, when there is a storm, debris gets caught under the bridge, there's utilities there. It's a very complicated bridge that has caused significant flooding and damage to residents and businesses nearby. It is time for that bridge to be removed because of the unsafe conditions. And so we're working closely. We have a grant from the state to dismantle the bridge. We know there's a lot of historic value to the bridge. We want to make sure we're able to preserve that historic value while at the same time providing critical security upgrades for our residents because it's simply unsafe. Simultaneously, we did a public engagement community outreach process where we talked to hundreds of different residents to get their input on the future of a pedestrian bridge, which I'm pleased to report was completed. And you can now see the beautiful walk bridge adjacent to the old bridge. And now we are working with the Board of Representatives. There's been several independent studies that have been done to assess the cost of what it will require, because I know there is still a desire from some residents and community members to have a vehicular bridge there. But we simply cannot afford that cost right now with all of the capital needs we have in our city, from schools to roads to parks. But there is that study going on, and we'll continue to work with the boards as well as community members on the future of the old bridge.
Thank you, Mr. Tarzia.
Thank you. Yes, the West Main Street Bridge. Well, obviously, as I spoke before, I grew up in Stanford, and there used to be a vehicle bridge. And I used to love driving through Main Street and back from the old Main Street before the mall was built. But anyway, there's been a lot of debate on that bridge from the Board of Reps. Should it be a vehicle bridge? Should it be a pedestrian bridge? And we lost I believe it's two $2 million grants to rehabilitate that bridge. So because of the indecision that's happened throughout Stanford through how many years that we've been debating this, we've lost several grants. So I would like, as mayor and a builder, I like to see that bridge as an access way. Think about it. Downtown Stanford has a lot of traffic. We can't close it off anymore. We need access points. So we need to be able to either walk through that bridge or drive through that bridge. So that's the big debate. And as your mayor, I think I will come to a conclusion on that. So I'm going to go to the Board of Reps and to the residents and get a lot of feedback on that particular issue. So thank you.
30 seconds. Ms. Simmons, anything extra?
I want to correct the record that we did not lose that $2 million. We actually just got it approved through the state bonding commissions for the purposes of historic preservation and dismantling the bridge. And thank you to our state delegation and my team for all the hard work securing that funding and extending it. And also, just speaking of bridges, in a time of divisiveness, we truly are building bridges here, literally and figuratively, across Stanford. We've completed the Cedar Heights Bridge, the Lakeside Bridge, the High Ridge Road Bridge, And we're continuing to make improvements to our bridges, which are structurally deficient, so that we can ensure the safety of our residents. And by the way, this is not all on taxpayer dollars. We've secured federal funds and state funds to fix these bridges, which
Thank
is
you.
crucial for the safety of our residents.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Get it, rebuttals?
Yep. 30
Yes, on
seconds.
the speaking of bridges, I believe we lost several grants, and we need to have an assessment on all our bridges. I was just in the Springdale area in the Putter Drive area, and that bridge was not adequate enough to have the flow of the Ripperwalm River go through it. So obviously, an assessment of all the bridges. Are they up to the 100-year floodplain bridges the recommendations that we need from the government? And so I think building bridges is part of my job. Oh, and the Cedar Heights Bridge, I know we rebuilt it, and I applaud the effort of Stanford, but the DOT funded that bridge, and there's been a lot of, from what I hear from the contractors, this is what I hear, this is who I work with, because of the DOT's involvement, instead of just giving us the money, they hire these consultants that kind of add bureaucracy to the
Thank you.
construction of the bridge. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Next question goes to you first, Mr. Tarzia. What initiatives do you plan to support in order to encourage the success of Stanford's education system?
Of education. My favorite subject is education. Obviously, I'm a product of Stanford schools, and I graduated from Stanford High, and I graduated from Wright Tech Vocational School. So the success of education boils down to, I'll promote vocational for starters, is Wright Tech is a great school. I was on the Wright Tech Advisory Committee when they shut Wright Tech down. I was part of that committee to reopen Wright Tech and gather that state funding to reopen that school. So that's one of my initiatives, is keep the vocational. And as I spoke about before, my vision for Stanford on education is a multilingual school in the South End or West Side. I feel that will resolve our achievement gap and just help celebrate our diversity. Also, educational cost sharing. Stanford gets only $17 million in educational cost sharing. We're paying the state over $300 million in income taxes and business taxes, and we get back $17 million. I want to be a mayor that can usher in more educational cost sharing, because Bridgeport, Hartford, New Haven, Waterbury get $150 to $200 million, and we get $17 million. The disparity should not be 10 times different, and I need to prove that to the state. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Simmons.
Well, as the mom of a first grader in our schools, I feel a sense of urgency every day, not only as mayor, but also as a parent, to make our schools the safest and best places they can be for all of our children. 3 years before I became mayor, our city was suffering from a mold crisis, which caused the relocation of students. On hot days, many of our school buildings had to be closed down because there weren't proper air conditioning units in our classrooms. All of this caused disruptions to learning, and our students and teachers deserve better. That is why, as mayor, one of my top priorities has been to support our long-term facilities plan and to secure more funding from the state to support the rebuild of schools and improvements at all of our public schools. I worked with the delegation and state leaders to secure over $500 million from the state to support the rebuild of West Hill High, Roxbury, and a new school in the South End. And we've also made improvements to all of our schools, including new HVACs, new roofs. We're deploying solar. We've fixed sidewalks around every school that needed a repaired sidewalk. And we've installed over 200 air conditioning units. So on hot days like we've had the past couple of weeks, school buildings haven't had to be closed down. And we know that the quality of school buildings is correlated with academic achievement. Second, we know so many of our students are struggling with mental health challenges right now. And one of the first things I did was helped create and establish the Youth Mental Health Alliance and expand it to additional nonprofits. Our city's health department has done an excellent job leading that to provide more mental health support. And we've also increased funding for more school nurses to address the rising volume and acuity of mental health issues. And third, we've worked to provide more career pathway opportunities for students through expanding our Mayor's Youth Employment Program, connecting Stanford Public School students with paid internship opportunities in city departments so that they can gain real-world skills and access to career learning opportunities. But we still have work to do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Carolyn.
Go ahead.
On the issue of mold, let's take Westover, for example. I was on the Board of Education. I was vice president of the Board of Education several times. I was chair of operations. When the issue of mold came up in Westover, I'll try to be quick. I was able to go there and visit Westover. Within 20 minutes, I was able to see that the storm drains in the courtyard were blocked. The leakage, the gutters were overflowing, bringing water down the side of the building, infiltrating from the air conditioning units and windows. And within 20 minutes, I was able to recognize all these different difficulties in the school And $20 million later, we spent to rehabilitate it. In 20 minutes, I was able to recognize it. That's the value I can bring to education
Thank you.
at Stanford.
I'll let you guys finish your sentences more or less, but
you.
can't go on too long. Okay. Next question goes to you, Ms. Simmons. What would you do to improve and encourage economic growth in Stanford?
Sure. Well, Stanford is the economic engine of the state. We are the only city in Connecticut with a AAA bond rating. Our finances are in great shape. We rank in the top 10% nationally for the number of corporate headquarters here. And we have a robust growing ecosystem of small businesses and startups. And we've seen record numbers of new businesses coming to Stanford over the past 4 years, including over 200 new businesses. But we need to make sure that economic growth is trickling down to everyone and that everyone has access to economic opportunity in our city. My economic development team and I have focused on 3 core priorities. First, supporting our small businesses, which are the backbone of our local economy. They create 2/3 of all new jobs. We launched that small business grant after COVID, which supported over 176 small businesses, including businesses like Casa Villa, which was able to be able to stay open thanks to that grant. We've also launched a new Shop Local initiative, encouraging residents to shop local and support the many local businesses here and to encourage more incentives for retail. Second, we've also focused on attracting and retaining businesses in Stanford. I've formed a Mayor's Business Advisory Council. We've revamped our Choose Stanford website, and we partner closely with State DECD and Advanced CT on incentives so that we can proactively recruit businesses to Stanford to reduce our commercial vacancy rate. And third, we've expanded job training and workforce development initiatives. In addition to expanding the Mayor's Youth Employment Program, we've launched a new Domus Service Corps program, which connects underemployed youth in our city with beautification projects. And we've also created a new Stanford Tech Hub. We know 9 out of 10 jobs over the next decade will require tech skills. And thanks to a $5 million contribution from Charter, there's now hundreds of students that will be able to access free technology training and gain a certificate. It's happening at our old town hall, and they'll be able to gain access to good paying jobs and fill unfilled jobs in our city and our
Thanks.
region.
Thank you very much. Mr. Tarzia.
Economic growth. Well, I'm all about growth. So let me start with green infrastructure. I want to initiate some tax incentives for all the existing buildings without building new buildings, existing buildings for these landowners and building owners to green certify their buildings. That creates jobs, that creates energy savings, that creates the building is worth more, and it's greener and less toxic effects. So that's one of my initiatives, and to incentivize that. Also, retail. We have to bring back some more retail in certain areas of Stanford because, you know, obviously our mall is suffering, so we need more retail stores. As I spoke about the South End, Bedford Street's great, but let's celebrate some more retail in different areas. Business loan. As I spoke about before, the Stanford Credit Union, I have spoken to the Stanford Credit Union, Sound Credit, and particular banks to partnership for home ownership, buys, rent to buy, and business loans, because the Stanford Credit Union is strapped financially. So if they can partnership and collaborate, and you have a mayor that understands his business sense, business model, we can get more business loans. And existing businesses, we have Fortune 500 companies, we have Gartner Group, we have Synchrony, we have Indeed. I want to be a mayor that goes out and gets more of these corporations, more of these IT companies, more vocational companies, a lot of companies I want to be able to go out to and enhance them to come to Stanford so we have better job growth that can pay these rents or go into home ownership. Well, thank you.
Ms. Simmons, 30 seconds.
I'll add that we just completed a retail study. We worked with an outside consultant to talk about ways we can get more retail to our city. One of the things they said is we are in good shape. Our downtown occupancy rate is 90%. So compared to other cities, we do have a great, vibrant downtown. We've expanded things like outdoor dining, and you can see the vibrancy of our downtown, and thanks to DSSD and the Chamber for the work they're doing there. Our mall has been repurposed into really a destination and attraction for families, with everything from pickleball to soccer zone to the new roller skating rink. And we want to continue to expand access to opportunity for families and encourage more vibrancy downtown.
Thank you. Good.
I'm good.
Okay. Next question goes to you first, Mr. Tarzia. How will you ensure appointments, hiring, and policy decisions reflect the needs of Stanford's diverse population?
Can you clarify that? Appointments to the certain boards or appointments to...
Ensure appointments, hiring, and policy decisions, I'm assuming in the mayor's office, if you are elected,
Well,
reflect the
appointments-
needs of Stanford's diverse population.
Well, what your question is confusing me a little bit, but I could focus on appointments. So the mayor is in charge of the appointments of a lot of different boards, and most controversial is our planning board and our zoning board. So some of these boards have expired seats, and these boards are initiating the land use in Stamford. And it's up to the mayor to appoint the appropriate people to these boards. So I like to see a better, transparent way of appointees to boards, especially the planning and zoning board, with all the overdevelopment that we have in Stamford going on today. So that's a crucial issue that I want to focus on. And that's what I'll say about appointments. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Simmons?
I'm proud of the progress that our administration has made over the past 4 years. We've appointed 170 candidates to board positions, both to fill vacancies and for reappointments. And we've put a real focus on diversifying our boards and commissions so that they can reflect the wonderful diverse population of our city. We'll continue to do that work, and I always want to put out a call to action. If any of you are interested in serving on our local boards, it's a wonderful opportunity to get involved in our city, and we appreciate all of those 170 volunteers who've stepped up to serve and volunteer their time and share their expertise with our city. In addition to that, our director of DEI has worked with city departments, our police force, and our fire department to work to diversify our recruitment. I was proud to just swear in a diverse group of recruits to our police department, and thanks to the work of our new Stamford Police Academy, we're recruiting locally and hiring great talent to fill these roles so that we can better serve our population.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Tarzia?
Can I just say
30
one thing
seconds.
on appointments is I see people in this room right here tonight that have been applying for different boards, and the mayor has not appointed them. So I'm not in the mayor's office, and I don't know why she hasn't appointed them. But for example, I could name a few people here, but I don't want to do that. But the head of the planning board has expired. Her term has expired. And she was also rejected by the board of reps, but then the mayor appointed her to the planning board. And with the comprehensive plan that is so much of a big issue today, that seat has been expired, and that seat has been dominant in applying or approving this plan. So
Thank you.
I think we need a change on that. Thank you.
Ms. Simmons? 30 seconds.
Well, for-
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Simmons?
Well, I'll note that I have appointed several very qualified members of the public to serve on our planning and zoning board to fill expired seats. They've been rejected by the Board of Representatives. So I have an obligation as mayor to have functioning boards. These are two critical boards that support the economy, jobs, and vibrancy of our city, that support our capital budget process, that support new housing and opportunity for residents. And we can't afford to have defunct boards. So if I'm going to put up qualified residents and they're going to get rejected, we're going to utilize the talent we have on our boards to keep our city moving forward.
Thank you. Next question. Okay, thank you very much. Next question goes to you, Ms. Simmons, first. As mayor, what steps would you take to ensure the safety of at-risk citizens, such as immigrants and members of the queer community?
Sure. So expanding upon what we talked about before, ensuring the safety and security of our immigrant community as well as our LGBTQ community is critical. We are an inclusive, welcoming city, and we have absolutely zero tolerance for hate speech, for hate crimes, and for discrimination against any group across our city. And our administration has done a lot of work to make that clear because unfortunately we have had hate crime incidents. We have seen an uptick in hate speech really across the country, and particularly in these divided times when there's so much hate out there. We need to stand true to our values and make sure that is clear, whether we do flag raisings on Pride Day outside of our government center to proudly show that we're an inclusive city, whether we prioritize diversification of our boards and including members of our immigrant community and our LGBTQ community, or whether we do training. Members of our police force are trained in anti-bias and LGBTQ training so that we can better serve members of the public. But we still have work to do, and we want to make sure that everyone feels welcome and included in our city.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can you repeat the question?
Sure. As mayor, what steps would you take to ensure the safety of at-risk citizens, such as immigrants and members of the queer community?
Sure, thank you. I want to be sure. A person is a person. And of course, I love all people across the board. So the hate the mayor mentions hate. And I really dislike some of the thoughts of some of the people that emphasize hate. So, because obviously we have political hate, we have racial hate, there's gender hate, there's a lot of different religious hate. There's a lot of different hates that I want to be able to address and treat fairly to all the citizens. There's anti-Semitism. There's all the citizens have rights. So I want to be able to protect all those rights and try to rid. It comes to thinking, where does this hate come from? I don't have any hate in me. I don't hate anyone. It's being taught somewhere. So where's the root of the hate coming from? That's what I want to know, because it boggles my mind that I picture myself sometimes as a coach, and a coach wants to have excellence. It doesn't matter your skin color or your religious status or whatever status you are, your gender status. You want the best person on the field for you, and that's what I want for Stanford, the best people without any hate and influences. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Simmons, 30 seconds.
Another initiative that we've launched is a Mayor's Kindness Initiative with the goal of encouraging residents to conduct 100,000 random acts of kindness. And we've partnered with nonprofit organizations, we've partnered with students, and we need more initiatives like that where we can spread more love and kindness across our city. I know it might sound cheesy, but you never know what someone is going through and the mental health challenges that people are facing. And I want us to be a city that is kinder, more inclusive, more loving, and a place where everyone feels welcome, respected, and has the dignity that they deserve.
Anything else on this?
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question for you, Mr. Tarzia. As mayor, what will you do to make Government Center more responsive to community inquiries and questions?
Great question. First thing as mayor is I'm going to open up City Hall. I want to see all the departments open up. As a builder, I build from New Rochelle to New
Thank you.
Haven. I've gone into every building department from New Rochelle to New Haven, and they're all open. And this includes the building department, the zoning department, the health department, the environmental department, the town clerk. We need to have more access. The citizens need to have more access to city services and human interaction. It's great to have everything done online, but as a builder, I'm going to go in with a survey or a building plan, and I want to be able to meet with somebody and see how I can resolve the problem within a few seconds, and for all those city services and all the taxes we pay, I think we demand that the town hall be open, city hall be open. So thank you. That's what I would.
Thank you. Simmons?
We've made a number of improvements to our government center to make it more accessible to the public. Working with our ADA council and leaders like Phil and Honorata, we're making a number of ADA improvements to the government center right now. You can see the construction going on outside. We secured funding from the state to improve the outside, the lobby, as well as the fourth floor cafeteria to make our government more accessible to residents. We've also made improvements to our stanfordct.gov website. When I came in, it was only available in English and Spanish. It's now available in over 100 different languages to support the diverse population that we have, so everyone can access our city government. We're also making it more accessible to individuals with disabilities or who may be visually impaired. In addition, we created a walk-in permitting center that initially we had open every month because we know the permitting process can be a challenge. So this is an opportunity where residents can come in and get access to every single official in our city involved in permitting, from the fire marshal to our engineering department to EPB, and get their questions answered in person. And because of how popular and how much demand there was for this walk-in permitting center, we've just announced an extension of the walk-in permitting center. It's now available every Wednesday, weekly, every morning, and we've seen a great response from residents. In fact, it has reduced the permitting wait time down from 2 years to 90 days. We still have work to do, but that's one way we're working to make our government more accessible to residents. In addition to that, in response to concerns we heard from the veteran community that they didn't feel heard or served, we created a Veterans Resource Center for the first time in our city's history. Based at Old Town Hall, it served over 300 veterans and in some cases provided life-saving support. We'll continue to work to make our government more responsive.
Thank you. 30 seconds, Mr. Tarzia.
For that, thank you, Caroline, for that. But open up every Wednesday doesn't suit me. I think as a builder, I want the government center to be open up every day. I see people that are involved here in government and been on the building in the building department, and the building department is doing great. But there's other departments, and I know for one that could be understaffed. There's zoning. It's hard to get a hold of zoning and different other departments. So I feel there's a weakness there, and I would like to see that every day. And the Veterans Resource Center, I'm a strong advocate of helping the veterans, and it was almost closed, and we had to get a grant to reopen that, and that was a little controversial factor, but we ended up pursuing that, and the veterans had to actually initiate that. So thank you very much.
And moving on. Next question. This one goes to Ms. Simmons first. What professional, volunteer, or public service accomplishment in the last 12 months are you most proud of and why?
Sure. So over the past 12 months, we've worked really hard to support our local economy and to make Stanford one of the best cities in the state. And I'm most proud of the fact that S&P just reaffirmed our city a AAA bond rated city. We're one of the only cities in Connecticut with a AAA bond rating. And you may ask, what does this mean for you all? This demonstrates the fiscal health of our city. This demonstrates strong budget management practices. And because of that AAA bond rating, we've been able to save taxpayer dollars and invest in critical services for residents. So I'm very proud of our team for all the investments we've made in infrastructure across our city. Our budget and finances are in great shape. Our mill rate has dropped to one of the lowest mill rates in the state. The tax increase last year was 1.8%, well below the rate of inflation. Our grant list has grown from 22 to 27 billion. Our pensions are well funded. Our debt is manageable. In fact, we've been able to reduce our debt service costs by 11%. In addition to that, we've expanded the senior citizen tax credit for the first time in a decade, and we're currently working on an expansion to the veterans tax credit. So fiscal health is critical to my ability as mayor to deliver excellent services to residents, and it's also critical to being able to attract businesses and jobs and opportunity for our residents. So if I'm reelected, I will continue that strong practice of good budget management practices, delivering year-over-year surpluses for the past 4 years. We want to continue that trend so that we can continue to deliver excellent services for our residents.
Thank you, Mr. Tarzia.
So thank you. So what I'm most proud of is I could just speak from experience. Obviously, I was always a Stanford Board of Education for 10 years, chair of operations. I helped the Stanford Board of Education actually do a spreadsheet. Every month we would get a report on different operations and capital projects. And every month it was a different piece of paper. I said, why not put it on a spreadsheet? You have a past year, current year, future year, funding source, location. So I've helped the Board of Education in the operations department and in capital expenditures. So I'm most proud of that. And we actually rebuilt our operations committee through me and certain board members, and Becky Hammond's here was part of that also. Also, what I'm most proud of is some of my philanthropic ventures. Stanford Dollars for Scholars. When I first joined that board, they were raising $10,000 a year. After a term on that board, they were raising over $1 million a year. We're raising, well, totally, we raised millions of dollars a year for scholarships for Stanford students. And I have my own foundation, Tarzia Foundation, which supports the USMC, Toys for Tots, and veterans. And a lot of you have been to some of my events here, and it's a great event that I'm certainly proud of. And I've raised millions of dollars without being a top public official. So that's what I've done as a private citizen. So thank you.
Ms. Simmons, 30 seconds if you want it.
I'll add that in addition to the big things we do, it's the small moments every day that matter when we're able to touch residents' lives and enhance their quality of life. For example, there was a student that had reached out to the city to say that one of our sidewalks was not ADA compliant and that his grandfather was not able to get his wheelchair around the sidewalk. We were able to fix that sidewalk, and then we did a ribbon cutting with that student, and to see the smiles on his face, to know that not only did government respond to him, but also that his voice matters, that youth voices matter, and that we need young people stepping up and getting involved in public service. In addition to that, when I get to visit with families that are able to live in safe, high-quality, affordable housing units that our city helped fund, that's critical. That's not just a roof over their head. That's an opportunity for their family to thrive in our city.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Tarzia, 30 seconds.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay. Next question goes to you first, Mr. Tarzia. How will you provide more opportunities for students?
Good question. Again,
Students submitted it. Students submitted, so it's bona fide.
Oh, okay, students submitted, so thank you. More opportunities for students. Obviously, there's vocational opportunities, guidance counselors, mental health. Let's talk about mental health for an issue. Obviously, mental health has been ballooning. The budget on mental health has been ballooning. But one of my initiatives is to, instead of outsourcing our mental health, is to start insourcing. I'm trying to get a number on how much we spend totally on mental health, outsourcing it. And I want to be able to insource those needs of those students. And ELL, as I mentioned to you before, one of my biggest initiatives is ELL, English Learning. And I call it ISL. I want international learning. And that's the kind of school that I want to be able to have built. And again, vocational. It all starts with the guidance counselors and vocational. Some students have a better aptitude to go to college. Some students have a better aptitude to go into mechanical trades. So I want to be able to enhance that and recognize that at an early stage so we have a vibrant community from white collar to blue collar to green collar. So thank you.
Ms. Simmons.
Sure. Well, students are our future, and I love the opportunity whenever I get to meet with students. I've had the pleasure of visiting all of our Stanford public schools over the past 4 years, and I love hearing from students on their ideas for the future, and they are just brilliant on sustainability. They've given me and our city so many great ideas on how we can make our city more sustainable. I also love visiting with UConn students. I just visited a public policy class there last week, and we're working closely with the state. UConn Stanford is one of the fastest growing UConn campuses in the state, and they have growing programs like their digital media program where students are studying a key skill set that is needed at many of our companies in Stanford, like NBC Sports and WWE. So I think we need to continue to work to create more career pathway opportunities for our students in our K through 12 system, as well as at UConn Stanford, and partner with businesses. That's what the expansion of our Mayor's Youth Employment Program has been all about. We've expanded the number of businesses and nonprofits participating. If you're interested in participating, you'll get access to a very talented Stanford Public School student that we pay and train to intern for you, and we want to continue to expand those opportunities for our students. In addition, mental health is critical. As I mentioned before, we expanded our Youth Mental Health Alliance, which partners with our schools. And we also work closely with the Mayor's Youth Leadership Council, MILC, who are great ambassadors for better mental health in our schools. And I think student voices are so critical in helping reduce that stigma and making students feel okay to share mental health struggles that they're going through. And then in addition, we can't forget about our youngest students. We're making a big investment in early childhood and pre-K. I was just visiting Apples today and supporting all the work that they're doing, as well as we put in more funding for CLC because we want to make sure our students are kindergarten ready and we can keep them on track.
Thank you. 30
Great.
seconds if you.
30 seconds. Preschool, definitely one of my initiatives. More preschools, obviously. Preschool, the brain of a child learns more at those early ages of childhood. So definitely more preschools, and I like to expand that. Obviously, there's budget constraints to that. UConn, I loved UConn. I'm a big UConn basketball fan. I love the initiatives of UConn, the branch down here we have in Stanford. And I want to see more courses. I want to see more volunteers or interns, as the mayor said, from UConn. It's volunteer interns on UConn and teach more civics classes. When's the last time you've heard of a college teaching more about civics and government?
Thank
So
you.
that's what I want these interns to be able to learn. Thank you.
Thank you.
It was an honor over the past 4 years. Actually, the superintendent and Alice Knapp, the head of the Stanford Library, and I got to visit a number of schools to do civics education and training for our students. And it was a fascinating discussion and opportunity for me to share how local government works, for the superintendent to share how the Board of Ed side works, and for Alice Knapp to share how nonprofits and important civic institutions like our libraries work. So we'll continue to do more work to promote civics across our school district. But I'll also say that we need to be thinking ahead towards the future. We know AI is going to disrupt a lot of industries, and we need to position our students for success amidst the global turmoil that we're seeing. So we're currently a finalist from the state to secure $50 million for a new AI institute at UConn that we want to build out so we can help students get trained in AI so that they can fill those high-paying
Thank you
jobs.
very much. Thank you very much. Okay, moving on. Next question goes to you first, Ms. Simmons. Do you believe that private equity and large real estate firms contribute to a healthy housing market? Explain your answer.
Sure. So I think public-private partnerships are very important to supporting our affordable housing goals. It's important that we partner with banks to get the financing. For example, those 23 owner-occupied condo units that were successfully completed at Washington Crossing, that was thanks to bank financing and assistance on down payment assistance for residents. We also work closely with state and federal government to get financing. So I think we need a lot of creative public and private sources of funding to make housing feasible in our city, particularly at a time when the cost of land is expensive, the cost of construction is expensive, tariffs are adding uncertainty and cost escalations due to the cost of raw materials. So we really do need to partner with the private sector. At the same time, we also need to hold developers accountable when they're building. As I mentioned, for the first time in a decade, we've increased the BMR requirements on new developments. And we've also put in place new requirements requiring developers to make more investments in our infrastructure. So with every new development that goes up, there's requirements for sidewalk improvements, sewer improvements, streetscape improvements, new trees being planted. And it's critical that we get the private sector and developers to put more skin in the game to improve our infrastructure. So we'll continue to work on creative solutions to get more housing in our city. This is critical. Our homeless shelters are at capacity right now. One of the things we know is that individuals used to transition into stable housing within a 6-month period. It's now taking over 12 months because we simply don't have enough housing supply and housing stock. So we need to work
Thank you.
creatively with the private sector on solutions to this crisis.
Thank you very much. Mr. Tarzia.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Sure. Do you believe that private equity and large real estate firms contribute to a healthy housing market? Explain your answer.
Okay, private equity firms and builders and developers are contributing, but we need controlled growth in Stanford. As I mentioned several times, look at the explosiveness and overdevelopment in Stanford. I mean, I don't want to say negative like this, but sometimes I don't know who's running Stanford. Is it developers are running Stanford? Is it the administration? Is it the mayors is running Stanford? I don't, it's there's a lot of,
Okay. Thank
there's
you.
a lot of,
Thank you.
could be legal questions on that. Collaborative, being that I'm in the construction industry, I could recognize and work with the developers to build buildings properly, to build a city properly, to have better quality construction and better pervious sidewalks and pervious streets where the water allows to be flowed into the ground instead of going down our storm sewers. And accountability and infrastructure, I mean, that's what I'm all about, is accountability and infrastructure and holding these developers accountable, especially for affordable housing. Instead of segregating and paying a fee in lieu, make sure that their affordable housing is included in the buildings that they're building and make sure it's equitable. Diversity, equity, inclusion should be in our building standards, not only taught in our schools. So I like to see that instead of segregating and paying a fee in lieu and to see if we're getting that value in fee in lieu is actually hold these builders accountable for affordable housing.
Thank you. Ms. Simmons, 30 seconds rebuttal.
Yes, well, the majority of units of new developments are building on-site BMR units, but I will add that we do get enormous benefits from those fee in lieu payments. Those go to subsidizing deeply affordable housing units for families across our city. I visited with residents at the Lawn Hill Terrace housing complex, which is a beautiful new housing facility for families in our city. I talked to a member of our community who lives there, who is a nurse in our healthcare system, and she described with pride how happy she is that her kids have a safe backyard to play in and that her commute has been shortened to get to work. So the fee in lieu dollars make a real impact on deeply affordable housing.
Okay, thank you.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
I get one more chance? Okay.
30 seconds.
So again, 7,333 units are being built, apartment buildings are being built right now. I'm a big spreadsheet person and a map person. I want to see on paper how many affordable housing units do we have now, how many affordable housing units are being built, and how many affordable housing units do we need, and then address it on a basic spreadsheet, very simple, transparent, so everybody can understand it, and we all know how much affordable housing we need and how to get there. Thank you.
Thank you. That's it for questions. Now we will start with closing statements. Ms. Simmons, you may go first. 2 minutes.
It's been an incredible honor to get to serve as mayor for the past 4 years. I love the city, and my husband, Art, and I are so proud to be raising our 4 kids here. And we've made tremendous progress over the past 4 years of making Stanford a city of opportunity for everyone. We've made historic investments in our infrastructure, including our schools, roads, where we've doubled the amount of paving, and investments in our 58 parks, beaches, and marinas, and investments in our train station. We've also advanced economic prosperity by expanding access to capital for businesses and creating new job training programs like our Tech Hub. We've made our government more responsive to residents through our new walk-in permitting center, our police academy, our new Vets Resource Center, and enhancing the Fix It Stanford system. And we've worked to make our city more affordable. But we still have more work to do, and particularly at a time with significant global and national uncertainty, we need steady local leadership that knows how to get things done and deliver results for the people of Stanford. It is a privilege to get to wake up every day and work on policies to enhance quality of life for the people of this city, and I want to continue to do that over the next 4 years, building on the momentum we started. My goal over the next 4 years is to complete the rebuild of West Hill High and Roxbury and the new school in the South End, and I can't wait to greet students and teachers on the first day of school when they walk into those beautiful buildings and see the smiles on their face when they walk into beautiful, modern, world-class buildings that they deserve. I can't wait to celebrate the groundbreaking of the new train station, which is long overdue to be rebuilt. It's the second busiest station on the Northeast Corridor after Grand Central, and that rebuild will enhance the commuting experience and make that station more accessible for hundreds of thousands of commuters and will also spur economic development, jobs, and workforce housing in the parcels surrounding the station. And I can't wait to visit with seniors who are going to be living in newly renovated units at places like Stanford Manor and other facilities across our city, thanks to the direct dollars we're putting into our capital budget to improve housing across our city. We still have work to do, but I know that we can continue to work together to move our city forward and that our best days are still ahead of us.
Thank you very much. Mr. Tarzia?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Simmons.
Okay.
It's a pleasure to be up here along with the mayor. So I could just speak from experience, being a lifelong Stanford resident, being born and raised here. I know the city like the back of my hand. I've committed 30 years of my life to public service, whether it's sponsoring sports teams, that some of my friends are here, whether it's being involved in philanthropic and charitable organizations, Stanford Public Education Foundation, I helped initiate Stanford Dollars for Scholars, my own foundation. I could speak from government experience, from 10 years of being on the Board of Ed, being the vice president, actually filling in. I see the president over there, filling in for the president a few times on the Board of Ed. So that was good, good experience for me. So this is my hometown. This is a culminating moment for me to run for mayor of my political career. And I'm dedicated. People that know me here know when I'm dedicated and focused on something, entities improve. Every entity that I've been involved with has improved. And that's what I want to make Stanford the biggest entity in the state and improve on it. And also some of the other initiatives I've had that I didn't get to speak about are traffic. I want to be able to hire traffic enforcement officers downtown Stanford to make people feel safer, to let the traffic flow better, and it's a small cost compared to our overall budget. Very simple fix, traffic enforcement officers and senior citizen tax cuts or tax freezes. Senior citizens have been paying a lot of taxes over the years, and half of those taxes goes to education. So we want to see a better formula for that for our senior citizens, as I spoke about educational cost sharing, public-private partnerships. That's a big factor for our schools and building new schools. So all those three entities, whether it's education funding, there's 4 ways to do educational funding, whether it's city, state, federal, public-private partnerships. That's what I'm for, and that's what I've proven to done with public-private partnerships, bringing money and dollars for the betterment of Stanford and the citizens. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You all can clap. Thank you very much, everyone who's here on Zoom and who's in the room. As you can see, you can't see in Zoom, but the room is full. This is what democracy looks like. This is what we all need to do, is to become engaged. Thank you all for your thoughtful questions. They were terrific. Thank you to the candidates for stepping up. Public service is a noble, noble cause. Thank you.
Thank you. Good debate. Good points. Great points from both candidates. We appreciate each other. Thank you. And respectful to each other. Thank you.